Hello, this is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. Today's video has some stunning new information that has been released in the form of warrants. I got these warrants from Jane Doe You Know on Twitter, so thank you so much for that. And she provided me, I think there's 16 additional warrants, not including the one that was put out the other day, so there's 17 of them. And in these warrants, it actually places Tyler Robinson in and around the scene around the time of the homicide or murder of Charlie Kirk. Now, this is the first element that I'm going to discuss right now is I found really interesting as well. If you remember how they had in the probable cause document, I guess it's really the charging document and a probable cause, where it states that he's on campus at 8:28 in the morning with his maroon shirt and also his Dodge Challenger. All right, but listen to this. This explains that. Agent Mortensen reviewed Utah Valley University security video and discovered Robinson's Challenger enter a UVU parking structure located on Campus Drive at approximately 800 West at 8:28 a.m. After entering the structure, Robinson parked and exited his vehicle and walked around the campus until 9:24 hours when he returned to his car. In the video, Robinson is seen wearing a ball cap, a red t-shirt, light-colored shorts, and Converse-style tennis shoes. And as you remember, that's exactly what he was wearing in this video right here. So let's play it. And this is later in the day, but this is exactly what they describe him wearing. It says that he's got a ball cap, a red t-shirt, light-colored shorts, and Converse-style tennis shoes. During the time that Robinson walked around the campus, he is seen visiting areas such as the wooded area near where a rifle was later recovered and the site where the victim was shot. So he went to both of those spots. Robinson leaves the parking structure in his vehicle at 9:32 and travels northeast from the campus, which is in the direction from which he is later observed walking towards the campus prior to the shooting. So let's take a look at the map here. So the address that they gave was 800 West. That is right here. And he parked in a parking structure. So I think that's actually the exact same parking garage that he went into, that he walked, through the tunnel, and he came up the stairs into the parking garage and walked out when he went to kill Charlie Kirk. So I think what happened was he was parked over here somewhere. In fact, I think this location right here is precisely where he parked, at least on the dry run, and then perhaps moved the car to this location on his final run, just to make it a shorter walk. But I think he drove from right over here and then went this direction. Now let's take a look at just before the vehicle is seen going into that parking garage. If we rewind it a little bit here, we actually have the Dodge pulling in on the street here. Look at, and it drives by the camera, Dodge Challenger. And look what time it is, 8:23 and 2 seconds. So that means 5 minutes later, he shows up in that parking garage. So this is what I think he did. So he drove by right here. From the surveillance footage, we know that he did not go up this cul-de-sac. So he went straight this direction. Then I think he turned and drove down the road over here. He may have stopped for a moment somewhere. Who knows? Drove down here and then turned left. And then drove this direction and then went into the parking structure right there. And that's the tunnel that he went under too. So it's the same parking structure. And then we know after that, sometime between 8:28 and 9:24, he visited this wooded area. And that might have been when he was coming back. Who knows? Then he also went and visited the area where Charlie Kirk was shot. So again, here's the parking garage. This is the Losi Center building. And he went down, apparently down in this area. All right, and then he gets back to the vehicle in the parking garage at 9:24, and then leaves the parking garage at 9:32. So the entire time that he was in the garage, the car was parked in the garage, is longer than an hour. It's an hour and 4 minutes. So he's probably walking around campus for about an hour, and then he drives the vehicle out at 9:32, and the document states that he traveled northeast. So that means from the parking garage, which is in this north-south oriented video, it's right there. So northeast, they know he's up here, so perhaps surveillance camera from one of these homes over here shows the Dodge pulling in again, and this would be, probably 9:40-ish. And then we know just a little while after that, it could have been that he changed his short color, maybe he did something, or just, got his backpack, etc. I would imagine that when he parked his car in the parking garage, maybe he didn't have a backpack, so he's constantly changing up what he's wearing throughout the day. So he parked right there, and then we see him walking by right here at, I think it's 9:57. Let's see what time it is. So you see him right through there. He's walking. He's got the maroon shorts, and he kind of walks through there, and then you see him right here, and look what time it is, 9:57 and 49 seconds. Now we know from my shadow analysis video that after walking by this camera, so this is right here, he walks all the way around like this, comes down the street. So I imagine this camera over here picks him up earlier, probably at like almost 10 o'clock right here, 10:03 or something like that. Then he goes around this corner right here, and then he will pass both these cameras again, and we see it. We see that he walks by this camera at 10:07 based on the shadow analysis. This isn't mentioned in the documents yet, because I don't think that dry run was discovered until after the search warrants were created. All right, but he did walk this direction again at 10:07, and then we know that eventually he is seen on camera right around in this area at 11:53 at the tunnel, 11:50-ish sort of in this area over here, 11:53 in the tunnel, and then he makes his way over to the Losi Center building by walking this direction, and then around, and apparently from the new documents too, he was on the sidewalk right here, and then came around, and then went into the Losi Center building, and then went up these steps right here at 12:15. Then he climbed over this wall right there at 12:17, assembled the rifle, got up, and the limp that he had prior was missing. Then he ran over here, and then he sort of shimmied across, and then at 12:23:29, the shot was fired. 12:23:34, he's already in this position running off the roof, and then he makes his way to this corner here, jumps down right almost precisely at 12:24, and then makes his way over into the woods where he ditches the rifle in these woods right here. So now let's get back to the article here. According to Special Agent Payton, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the owner of the home located at 680 West 925 South in Orem, contacted police and advised that he had captured video on his Nest doorbell camera, a Dodge Challenger parked across the street from his home. So, man, I mean, that is crazy. 680 West, 925 South. Okay, here we go. 680 West, 925 South. And look where that house is, right there. So this is something we did not know. This house has a surveillance camera on it. Now, this location right here is exactly where that is. I did a 360-degree camera walkthrough of this area, and we're about to get to the house location. Let me show you where Tyler Robinson's vehicle was likely parked, right here. And I would actually imagine he parked behind this tree right here. Right there, and then look right across the street is the house. All right, it's right there. Now, if you don't believe what I'm showing you right there, we'll go down to Street View right here, go down there, and you can see it's that house. and right across the street, so it could be just right there. I would imagine, though, he might be next to that tree. That is where he parked the vehicle. Now, this house was under construction by the university. It's became a university structure. And if we take a look at a map of a more recent time than the 360-degree view, you can see it's well under construction right there. And this one is from June 2025, just 3 months prior to the shooting. So Tyler Robinson parked right over in this area. It says, according to Special Agent Payton, that he parked that house at 680 West had a camera, and then a Dodge Challenger parked across the street from his home. The vehicle initially parked at approximately 12:47 a.m. on September 11th, 2025. They have 1025. Of course, it's not anywhere near the Battle of Hastings. It's really 2025. And then left at 1:35. So the car was parked there for, about 45 minutes or so. 47 minutes. So it parked there, and I think that's when he gave up. So he moved it there to be closer to it. It's at night, and he probably kept walking down. If you remember, there was an excavator operator at that house, and one of the articles out there that said they saw Tyler Robinson earlier in the day, perhaps I think right after the murder. And so Tyler Robinson knows exactly where he needs to be to try to retrieve his rifle. So let's take a look at that element. So here is where he parked the car, and the rifle was just right there. Okay? So he knew he was going to put it there because it looked like he was scoping out the area prior, between 8:28 and 9:24 in the morning on the 10th. And then we know that he moved the car right here at 12:47 a.m. on the 11th. All right. So that information is absolutely incredibly fascinating. But in a moment here, we'll have information that shows us why we know that Tyler Robinson's phone was in the area. All right, so here we go. A search warrant was obtained for Tyler Robinson's cell phone. During a review of the data and information stored on the device, I observed a Google Maps route with a start time on September 10th, 2025 at 6:46 p.m. UTC. Now, if you're somebody that's been working with shadows or just making sure you have the correct time, you know that it's -6. So according to the time conversion, the route start was approximately 12:46. So here we have 12:46 time, and that's the time that this Google Maps search was done. The route start time was approximately 23 minutes after the shooting. The starting point for the route was listed with GPS coordinates. The starting point coordinates were near the Mountain Shadows Shopping Center, according to Google Maps. This shopping center is approximately 7 minutes from the Utah Valley University campus. The Google Maps route is from the area near the shopping complex to a Quick Quack car wash located at 855 North State Street in Orem, Utah. All right, so the Mountain Shadows Shopping Center. Guess where that is, you guys? That's the exact same shopping center that surveillance video that we received a long time ago was located. If you remember, his car parked right here. I have it. Let's just move it forward. I guess before we get too far, let me show you this video right here. This one by TMZ where it shows him running out of the area. This is probably around 12, 30, maybe 31, something like that. And to me, it looks like he's just got shorts on in that video. It's a really poor quality video, but that would be before getting into his car and then driving to that shopping mall. So here's the shopping mall. Now let's get to the surveillance footage. Here it is. Let's watch it. And it's in the upper portion of the screen. You see the Dodge Challenger. This new information fits this absolutely perfectly. And there it is. There's the Dodge Challenger. It pulls into the stall there. Now look what time it is. 12:44:53. So he's sitting there, and he wants to go clean his car right after the homicide. Maybe you're trying to get rid of any gunshot residue. Maybe he's cleaning the inside of his car. Maybe changing the look of the outside, making it look cleaner. Who the hell knows, what he was trying to clean off? But he was probably trying to do it to mitigate any sort of forensic information. So there he is, parked there. I'm going to just scrub it forward, and let's get to the point where he's leaving. So right here, he takes off. All right, and the time now is 12:46 and 31 seconds. Isn't that amazing? It says right here at 12:46 hours, he looked how to get to the quick car wash. So that's what he was doing when he pulled over right there. He pulled over, and he was just looking up how to get to the quick quack car wash. And after he pulled away, he drove there. And so that location, so he probably pulled out, turned left here, and then headed this direction. And then down here is the quick quack car wash. And they have surveillance of him at the quick quack car wash at 12:57 p.m. right there. So it actually matches exactly what he was doing. Tyler Robinson's phone looked it up. That means his phone is in the area. The Dodge Challenger that we've seen now is definitely tied to his vehicle, and he shows up here at this quick quack car wash. All right. So we got that. Agent Draney with the Utah State Bureau of Investigation obtained records and video footage from the quick quack car wash of Tyler Robinson's 2013 Dodge Challenger, and it had his license plate, T455CE, arriving at the car wash at approximately 12:57 hours on September 10th, 2025. Investigators previously conducted a records check and found Tyler Robinson to be a co-owner of the vehicle outlined above. So for all the people that said, oh, there's no proof that Tyler Robinson was in the area, look, he's in the area with his vehicle. They've tracked the same vehicle around campus. He was obviously doing some, pre-homicide scouting. I also observed a second Google map. So here's a new one. Route that had been stored on Tyler Robinson's device. The Google Maps route had a start time on September 11th, 2025. And again, it's 7:33:47 UTC. So this will be 1:33:47. So here it is. Accounting for the time conversion from UTC to MDT, the route start was approximately 1:33 a.m. on the 11th. The starting point for the route was listed with GPS coordinates. The starting point coordinates were in the neighborhood to the north of and close proximity to the area where the aforementioned rifle was located near the UVU campus. So the GPS coordinates, when he's doing this search, this map request, I guess, he is right here. Okay, so here's where the wooded area is, where the gun is. And because we already know his vehicle is parked here at 1:33 or at 1:35 is when it drove away, and it was parked there from 12:47 to 1:35 it drove away, we have him looking at Google Maps at 1:33. So doesn't it make sense that his car is still parked there at 1:33, and he does this Google Maps search, and what he does with the Google Maps search is that it says the starting point for the route was listed with GPS coordinates. The starting point coordinates were in the neighborhood to the north of and in close proximity to the area where the aforementioned rifle was located near the UVU campus. The Google Maps route is from the area near the UVU campus to 3419 South River Road, Unit 73 in St. George, Utah. And we know this address is Tyler Robinson's address in St. George, Utah. So while he was parked there and we have him leaving at 1:35, that means 2 minutes before leaving, he typed in the Google Maps route where he wanted to go home, and then he left 2 minutes later at 1:35. This is him leaving after trying and trying. He was, after the murder of Charlie Kirk, he stayed in Orem for a good 13 hours. And a lot of that time, he was just waiting, see if he could find the time to go get his rifle. And he gave up. And we know that because in the text messages with Twigs, he even says, you know, I'm gonna have to leave it. This sucks. You know, something of that nature. And then he drove home. All right, so for all the people out there that believe Candace Owens and Barron and everybody that has all these crazy stories, this right here is just way more icing on the cake. And law enforcement has way more digital information than this because each one of these warrants leads to other warrants, and they've got way more information. And if you remember, Tyler Robinson was even texting at the top of the stairs on his way to the parking structure and then on his way to the UVU campus and the Losi Center building. So they probably have a GPS coordinates of that time where he was on the phone about to go into the tunnel. All right. So let me know in the comments what you guys think, but I think this stuff here is even more devastating for Tyler Robinson. The case has been really one of the strongest cases I've ever seen. And this right here just absolutely solidifies multiple elements. And if you're still out there going, I don't know, man, I don't know, I can't help you. All right. So thank you all very much for watching. If you hit that like button, I'd appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there.